Hey everybody. Happy Monday evening. It's kind of an impromptu live. I was actually just kind of relaxing and going over. We've got this big sale that is kind of ending this evening, and just kind of going through and making sure that everybody that I thought might want to take advantage of it had the opportunity and was reminded. So I was just kind of reminding everybody and checking in with people on how their makeup that they had just ordered was. And so I was chatting with my sister-in-law about hers. She has recently started trying it, and hey Lori. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So you get me in all of my no makeup glory. But what we were talking about is using the she's struggling with contour. So she's using one brush, which typically when people order, my kind of all-around brush that I would say would kind of do everything is the blush bronzer brush. And you know, it's kind of a toss-up. Some people love that one. Some people love the 3D brush, which is the one that was the original for Seint, for like the highlight system, the three-dimensional. And I love this brush, don't get me wrong, but for me, I just feel like blending, I do better with this one. And you can put your contour on with this. Any brush can be used for any one of them. But what I will say is that for me, my favorite by far is the detail brush. And again, I think I've mentioned here a couple, hey, I've got two Loris. Well, it's funny, Lori, Lori just mentioned that she loves the buff brush too. And that was the other one that I pulled out. So when I'm contouring, my go-to for, like, honestly, just my first up, I struggle. I literally went out and I searched all over before I did this live, and I thought, where's my I thought I left it in my car. So I ran out in my car to see it because this is my number one, and I'll show you why. I'm going to do one side with this one. But then actually, if I don't have that one, I go to my buff brush. Buff brush is one that you can get real more of a full coverage rather than a light coverage. Hey, Debbie. And that, I know this one, I know, I love it. So I'll show you. I'm going to do one side with my detail brush, and then if I don't have it, or for whatever reason, I just kind of switch it up sometimes and try different things so I can give tips. And the buff brush is my second go-to, just like Lori Young said. So this brush is nice because if you have skin where you've got texture, you can use it for your highlights, and you can definitely get more of a full coverage. Sometimes if I feel like my pores are just kind of, some days they look full, they look wider than others. I don't know why. I mean, I do the same thing all the time, but you know, menopause is a funny thing and hormones are weird. And so sometimes I have like where I have like these real big open pores, and sometimes they're not so bad, you know, they're not so bad now. So anyways, sometimes I digress. This buff brush is great for when you have a lot of texture because it really kind of works to get that color in your skin, but it can also do a little contouring. So I am going to use indigo, and I'm going to do my right side with my detail brush, then I'll do my left side with my buff brush, and we'll just see. And the other thing is I'm going to do, so I'll do my contour on my cheeks, then I'm going to do my contour on my jawline and on my head with my finger, and then I'm going to blend it out with the brush that I know that a lot of people have, so that if they're struggling, they can see that they can actually do it with your fingers too. So first up, I'm going to do my detail brush, and I just go in with just the edge of it. You just kind of tap. It doesn't take much. Remember, the color is really, really pigmented, so you can see I don't have much on there. And then you do kind of squeeze it a little bit, but I find that you have to squeeze it less than with the other ones because it's already kind of set thin. So then I take this, squeeze it a little, I find my cheekbone, and then you're almost gonna, when I imagine when I put it on that sometimes I just swipe it and that's okay, but when I'm actually like taking the time to do my own and really thinking about it, I imagine myself going kind of up into that lower part of my cheekbone because you're wanting to create that shadow so that you've almost got a concave area. That's to bring those cheekbones up and kind of cause yourself to have like that higher lift, and then, you know, give some youth by contour or, you know, camouflaging any sort of drag down here. So I just start up here and I just kind of push up into my cheekbone, almost pushing up into the underneath it. And it's very forgiving. So look, I've got 2 lines there. It's okay. I come to about the edge of my eye. Some people stay back here. I like mine down a little bit because when I turn this way, I want to be able to see it. That's all. And so you can see already that just by doing that, I'm going to blend it out, but I mean, you can see like here's this cheek here, and this one, it just gives that appearance of having a higher cheekbone. It's all about the shadow. So then all I do with your contour on your cheek, you're going to want to blend up toward the hairline because you definitely don't want to leave a whole bunch of dark down there. So I just literally tap and kind of blend up in. I like more of a sharper, really defined look. Some people like to blend it right out. I blend some, then I'm going to use blush and show you how to do that, but then I'm going to put that on top and then blend the rest of it in. So I usually leave mine right there, and then I do the rest of it after I do the lip cheek, because I tend to blend out too much sometimes, and that defeats the whole purpose. So now up next is the buff brush. I'm going to use, it's got a larger end and a smaller end, and they're both about the same as far as, you know, the level of how short it is what causes that full coverage. But I like the fact that the smaller one's going to fit better. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap, tap. And you can see, I mean, that honestly probably a little dab will do ya, but that probably even could be, we'll see, might be a little too much. Hey, Carrie. So then I'm just taking my cheekbone, finding it, starting up here, and then kind of remember I'm imagining kind of going up in slightly underneath, but kind of at that bottom part of your cheekbone. And you can see when I use my buff brush, it's fine. It gives more of a finer line because the detail brush has got more of that square. This is made for contour, but it's okay. You can still use this one too. So I do that, still stopping about here. You can see how already it just kind of gives that shadow underneath. And then I just kind of do the same thing. You just blend up on there. You can see it, you know, with the square, it actually gives it a little bit more of that contoured look. Again, that's why the detail brush is made for it. It's what it's supposed to do, and it does a great job, but you can accomplish it with your other ones too. And then if you're trying to get it more for your money, you can get the buff brush, and then you can do your contour and you can get good with texture. So, there you go. So now if you don't have one of those 2 brushes, then what you're going to do, and I do my nose with my finger anyway. So I'm going to tap here. Takes about that much maybe. Doesn't take much because it's really pigmented. And then I'm just going to tap here. Now my nose is kind of skinny. I have a crooked nose right here where I broke it because, believe it or not, go figure, I ran into a pole because I wasn't paying attention. Well, actually I was paying attention to the sail over here. But my nose is not wide per se, but it's long. I still am going to contour just because I like to have that sort of dimensional look. But you can really do a great job when you have like a wider nose, bringing the appearance to the center and making it appear as if it's thinner. So everyone does it kind of the same way, whether you're making your nose look thinner or shorter or just want to do the dimension. You just take them and almost touch your fingers just about, and then you just bring straight line down your nose. And so all that does, you can see, I'm going to kind of blend out a little bit. It gives shadow, but it also gives that straight line right down the center, and that's where I'm going to put my accent highlight. So then I take mine and just kind of do a little bit on the end because, like I said, I like to make my nose shorter. Now I'm going to tap again, and I'm going to just kind of go like this, and then I'm going to take, and I'm just going to kind of put some around my forehead. This is what you would call the cheetah hack. And then I'm going to take it here. So this is what I'm showing for people that don't have the other brushes. You can do the same thing on your cheek. You just literally tap it here, do it on your nose, tap it on that same line. You're just going to kind of tap or do a thin line. And then you're going to do it on your jawline. And if you have a jowl like I do, which you can see it kind of, my finger goes down a little bit, you just want to keep the line straight there because that's what's going to give you that straight jawline look. But again, the makeup is super forgiving, so it's okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to do the jaw. And what I want to do, this is again going to create that shadow so that when people are looking at you or you're looking at pictures of yourself, it's just going to kind of give shadow so that you, anywhere where we're dragging, it gives it a more defined look. That's all it amounts to. And I need that on my sides. So people who have a strong chin, you don't need to contour all the way down to your chin. People that really, mine is smaller. It doesn't stick out very far. So, and I want the appearance of it. So I actually bring mine down underneath. So, and that's it. So if you didn't have all the other brushes, the detail, remember the detail was the first one. If you didn't have that or the buff and you just had your blending brush, it's okay. You just literally do your dots here, here, down your nose, and here. Then you just take your brush and it's gonna just blend. And what you're doing is when you go ahead and you put it on and then you're gonna have your other colors on there too. I'm just showing you how easy it is to kind of blend it. I'm not gonna put a whole face of makeup on, but it'll blend out. And then all you do is you just blend it together. Your other color would come down here and you would just kind of marry the two together and then blend it down. That's all. Same thing. So you can actually use this brush to do your contour. I would honestly, if you have the bronzer and the blush brush, I wouldn't apply it with that. I would just do it with my fingers because you're going to be able to get more control of where it's at. So you just kind of blend it down. And then we did our forehead. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm not going to do a full face, but this is my accent highlight. So my accent highlight is going to go right here when I'm doing my full face of makeup. Then I'm just taking the same brush that I just was blending with, and I'm just kind of blending. You go down. You just blend that contour down on the side. And then sometimes, like I said, I blend out too much. You don't want to blend away your brightening accent, but you can always put a little more on if you blend it off. So sometimes it's a blend and sometimes it's just a little bit of a tap there. I got matching red spots. It's okay. This is me au naturel. And that's it for contour. I mean, like, seriously, like I said, this is my fave brush. This is my second fave brush. But then just do it with your fingers and blend. Now, I did want to show you when you do your lip cheek. I'm going to go ahead and use, I think this is Ever Red, which is the color of the month. You just put it a little bit, because it's very pigmented. Just right at that line of the contour. Again, kind of keeping it right where the corner of your eye ends. And then I've already contoured. So now I'm really going to just kind of go up a little bit with my contour and then swing back and circle. And then up and then swing back and circle. About 3 times is about all it takes. And you can see I'm not really doing it too hard. I'm just kind of blending it in. You're just kind of marrying it together. So now I've got the blush look, and then I've also got it where it just kind of like blended in together with my contour. And you can see that's not my real cheek. That's just a contoured line. But I love Ever Red. I know Lori Young is actually a Seint artist as well. And it is by far my favorite red. I love it. Although I am doing my niece's makeup for her wedding, I think, and she brought a picture, and it was funny because I was trying so hard to recreate this color, and then at the tail end I was like, you know what, come back, I'm just gonna put some saffron on you. Let's see what saffron does. And saffron is a matte red, and it's kind of like a brick, not really a brick, kind of like a brick maybe red, and it just boom, made her eyes look, she's more of an olive tone, and she just looked so amazing. But this red, I'm gonna put it on just because it looks good. Look. So that's one layer of Ever Red. This one's only on sale to the end of the month. I might actually stock up. It's buildable. So there's 2. And this one's a gloss. But makes your teeth look really white. And it's kind of got like a blue tint, so it kind of is, it goes with a lot of different skin tones. Last thing I wanted to show everybody and is the sponge. The sponge, you know, I never was a brush, sponge, anything. But when you have a sponge, if you get to the point where you're like, oh, I don't know if I blended it enough, you just wet your sponge, and all you do is just kind of do the tap with your sponge. Yes, black cherry is definitely, that's my second fave. I mean, I love black cherry. And black cherry scares everybody. Like, you put ever red or black cherry in someone's palette and they look at it and they're like, I don't know. Because look, I mean, that's what it looks like. But when you put it on, I don't have my black cherry right here, but that also is one of my favorites. But when you do, all you do is this wet sponge just kind of blends everything together beautifully. I use it on the makeup when I do the makeup as well. And it also kind of really pushes it into your skin to be able to kind of give it a flawless finish look, but it takes up any extra. So any extra makeup that you have sitting there that might, you know, I'm on my bed, you can't tell, but I'm actually moving my camera, sorry y'all. See, I had to hold it. But anyways, it will pick up any extra so you don't have extra makeup that will sit in those fine lines and those wrinkles. So that is all. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a great night. Bye.